Alrighty, hello there. I'm up again with the blue-black mid-range deck. I did some changes here and there, mostly adding some win conditions. Current Whisper is actually pretty chunky, 4/4/4/4. It's pretty strong. It has menace. When it enters the battlefield, it makes your opponent discard a card. You can also just cast it for 5. I don't think we are going to do much of that. Maybe we are going to. Let's just continue and seeing the rest of the deck. So this deck is actually a mid-range deck that plays a bit of a sub-theme with amass and tokens. We have Last of the River, which is a very strong card in Historic Pauper. This card is just 2/3 worth of stats with just 2 mana, and it trades very well with any 2-drop from your opponent, while also trading well with any kind of removal your opponent has, and also trading well with tokens. So it kind of works very well with what the format is about, right? Then we have Burglar Rat, which is a 1/1 for 2 that when it enters battlefield makes your opponent discard. I think I'm actually going to remove these ones because they are only good versus control, and I'm going to change it to zealots. Oh, that's not how. Okay, 3 of those because what? Okay. So this card is going to help us find our land drops and find everything else from our deck. It's also just a 1/1. It's not a great body, but it can be sacrificed. So this is another part of the things that we are doing. We are also sacrificing for value. Poacher here does a couple of things for us. It helps us just trading bodies for life and cards, so that's very strong. And then we have more cards like the Selection Zealot. Here we have Cloaking Seer, Psychic Oracle, and Pharaoh's Enrager. Just 3 drops with reasonable bodies, like not the stellar, but you can work with a 2/2 and a 2/1 flyer and a 1/3. And then we have a Cadaver Imp, which is a way of having a lot of value in the late game. Just by looping a couple of Cadaver Imps, you are able to generate a lot of value there. Also with Bushmeat Poacher, you can gain life, return something, draw a card, and do all the loop. Then we have 4 murders here for killing problematic big creatures. The idea is that we have smaller creatures to trade with what the opponent is doing, like tokens and smaller creatures, and then for big creatures we have murder. Then we have, as we said, Cavern Whisper and also Boneclan Necromancer as additional threats that just do something when it enters the battlefield. So we can, again, just let it die and then return with Cadaver into more value, or use them to, with Callous Dismissal to generate more value. Callous Dismissal is another way of answering any threat from your opponent and also generating value. If we have nothing else to do, we can bounce, for example, let's say a Psychic Oracle and replay it, so we end up with a token and additional triggers. Then in the mana base we have a couple of Bojuka Box. The graveyard is very important in this format. This format is not super grindy. It can be, and when the matchup is grindy, Bojuka Box can be the difference between winning and losing. Then in the sideboard we have a couple of Duresses for control, a couple of Mayor's Grasp as additional removal spells, Libation as ways of making the opponent sacrifice a creature or an enchantment. This works versus some enchantments, and it works very well versus deck that maybe try to put a big creature into play, and we can remove the rest of the creatures. Suffocating Fumes as way to clean up tokens. And Tempting Witch, this card, I'm still testing it. It's good against aggro, and it's also good against control if we have to remove our murders. So it's kind of a wild card there. And I need to add another card here, so I think I'm going to put a Burglar Rat, because I don't know what to put here. I could also be putting like counter spells, but I think that Duress is better, mostly because Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do actually. I'm going to remove two of these and put the best, because value creatures are going to be a problem for us. So I think that's going to be better. So the idea is that we are mostly a tap out deck except for Murder and Poacher. I think all of the rest of the cards in our deck are sorcery speed, so we don't want to have a lot of counter magic. So with that in mind, that's all there is to the deck. So I'm going to start talking with our opponent to play. Save and exit, yeah. So this format is actually pretty fun. As you saw in that deck has a lot of value and is very interesting to play. Direct challenge match, best of 3, coin flip, everything's alright. I think that's fine. So this is kind of this is called a league, but it's actually kind of just a match each week. So that's why I'm just posting these videos on YouTube, because it's only one match, so it's fine. And this format, I think, once it gets a bit of traction, is going to be very, very fun. There is a lot of cool things to try and cool things to brew. There is the Jumpstart cards that added a lot of power to the format. Cards like Cadaver Imp and Fire Rager and Secret Oracle, that are the cards that I put in my deck. But also some cards like Innocent Blood, for example, very good in control decks. I don't know. There are other cards that I forgot. They're very interesting to play. I'm not so sure about what this opponent plays. I know he's someone that's kind of that plays a lot here, so yeah, I'm going to play first. Oh, I forgot to change the art of these cards. Sorry about that. Yeah, this is keepable. Let's just hope he's not a very aggressive deck, or they are not an aggressive deck. Looks like they are mulliganing. I'm not so sure about how deep, because Arena doesn't show. Okay, so only to 6. Okay, so Golgari, this is probably Golgari tokens. That's a very strong deck. Yeah, I'm going to start with a Seed Oracle. The bad thing about Golgari is that it doesn't really work well versus these value creatures. And to pick another value creature, thank you very much. They might have a lot of removal, but yeah, when you... Oh, okay, that's fine. So they are probably a graveyard-centric deck. I think I played versus... I don't know if it's them, but I play versus a deck similar to this. If they play the Lurcher here, we are going to be fine. No, Trooper. This card isn't amazing. They can discard a creature to give it +2/+2 and trample. So if we play another Seagate Oracle, then they have to discard to trade, but to kill one of our Seagate Oracles. So that's a good enough deal, I could say. Let's just see what we find here. Clan Whisper is going to be very big. Doesn't really work on the Oracle, but we have Phyrex and Rager here to put it on. Cadaver Imp is going to work, I think, because we have the Secret Oracles that are going to die, most likely. I think I'm going to go for that. And play the Evolving Wilds and fetch. I'm going to fetch blue here, but this deck is mostly black, so it might have been wrong. So this Trooper card probably is going to put something that they want in their graveyard. I don't know about what's that, but I'm going to double block nonetheless. If they trade, let's say, one card in their hand for one of our dorky 1/3s, we are fine with that. Okay, they traded an Armored Grazer, that doesn't do much, so that's fine for us too. Another Trooper is going to put a bit of pressure here. If we play this, this is going to both die versus one trooper. So let's see, if we do this, we can do this and see if we draw another creature. Yeah, this works not the same. We can block a trooper and make them discard. Okay, Necromancer is fine. I'm going to just pass the turn here. So I think I'm going to block one with the Rager and trade one card in hand for one body. So they are going very low on cards. We just need to not fall too far behind on board. I'm going to play the Necromancer and probably exile something. This is an instant, so I have to be aware of that. Okay, so they are discarding extra cards. That's interesting. Probably they know that they are far behind on cards, so they only care about tempo now, which makes sense to me. Okay, so they can't really go for a corpse churn in response to us casting the Necromancer. So if we play that, we are going to have 5/5 worth of stats, but we can also play 2/3 drops like a Phyrexian Rager and a Murder. Maybe 2 Murders even. They are low on cards, so low in fact that maybe playing Phyrexian Rager and passing with Murder up is fine. They have priority, so I think that means that they have a creature card in hand. I could play another Cloaking Seer. They don't have enough things to discard now. I can double block. Sorry, I can block 2. And we have the Pauper to gain some life afterwards. I think I'm going to block like this. Again, we don't care about card advantage. We only care about, because we are so far ahead on cards, what we care about is tempo. And we are falling behind on tempo here. They are going very aggressive with difficult to block creatures. We have a couple of murders now to just clean the board if we need to. Okay, and an Omen here. That's annoying. They are probably going to get... oh, okay. Lurking the die. We can go for the 2 murders or just play a Necromancer. Let me see. Yeah, I think we are far behind on board, so I want to just clean up. Actually here, I think playing the river is correct. Again, if they want to discard a creature card here, they can. Most likely they're not going to attack now. Okay. Luckily we saved the murder now. So let's see. I'm going to murder that. We can also just chump block it a couple of times. I want to save my murders just in case. We can also just murder it and exile it afterwards. Let me see. I have a couple of dismissals, so I want to trade my zombie army. I think I'm going to go for Cadaver Imp plus getting back a Seed Oracle or a Cloaking Seer. Cloaking Seer draws 1 less card, but it can attack. Now I think I want to find something. I want to find more murders, more answers. This is fine though, we can start attacking for 4 in the air with the Cadaver Imp. So here we are making them discard the card to trade with the Oracle, which is a good trade for us. They're going for it. They don't trample anything, so that's good news. Now I think I'm going to go for Carlos Dismissal plus this. And we can actually go for the murder now. Murder. Sorry. The pronouncing that word is very difficult for me. It has a vowel that doesn't exist in my native language. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go for the dismissal. It's kind of free now. And I can attack with just the Whisper. Oh, I did it totally wrong. Oops. I forgot that this discards on the ETB. I'm an idiot. I could have bounced and then make them discard. Yeah, that's a punt. Yeah, that was totally wrong. Yeah, that would have been great. Just using this as a vindicate. Yeah. So we're going to start attacking and clocking them. I think in here the Poacher just to have additional ways, additional value each time we jump block. So now I'm going to just attack with this. Okay, I'm going to play the Necromancer and have the Murder up. Yeah. I can jump block with the River. I'm going to exile the... I'm guessing the Foragers. Yeah, again, this is we knowing that they don't have anything because it doesn't give them priority. If they attack with Trooper, we can just block with the Zombie. So yeah, they fall behind. So even though we punted really hard with the Cavern Whisperer, I think that was a good showing of the deck. So let's see. They have the Grasp works very well with the Troopers. Divest, I don't see it as very valuable here. The Evasion kind of looks fine, right? Well, they had Arboreal Grazer, which is super bad against the Evasion, and we don't want to remove it. So I think we only bring in more removal, and we remove, we take out probably a couple of Zealots. Something like this. Zealots are a bit of a pain because you have to discard a card, and they don't really trade well with any of their cards. Discard versus token, for example, if it can just draw you a card and trade with a token, that's fine. So yeah, I think I'm thinking this configuration of the deck. I don't think we have anything that's bad versus them. Yeah. So that was a good showing. They were on the mulligan and they had to discard a lot of cards. So going down on cards for tempo. And we were able to use the card advantage that we had on that match to our advantage. Even though we punted really hard with the Cavern Whisperer. And I will try to not punt like that next time. Okay, this is a bad hand. We don't have any card draw. And they kept 7. Let me think about it. So we have all of our colors. We can cast a Murder, but not on turn 3. So I think I'm going to mulligan because we can fall a lot. We can fall so much behind. So Necromancer is great, but it's a 5-drop. So no thanks. Okay, Razor. I don't really like this card in his deck or their deck. It's not it doesn't look like a proactive card, and they don't look like a ramp deck, but I might be wrong. Trooper now, okay, that's a good start. But we have the Last of the River response. If they want to trade their 2/2 with the river, we are fine with it. If they want to trade one card in hand for our stupid tokens, then we are fine with that too. Looks like they want to trade now. Fine with that. If they have removal, they have to spend it on an unimportant creature. Okay. That's fine. We are going to get that back with Cadaver Imp. Okay, they went a bit aggressive now. We have removal, but if we play the removal, we don't have anything. If we play the Cadaver Imp, we can play removal spell and Last of the River next turn, so I'm going to go with that. Again, you can see that it gives priority to them, so maybe they have Omen of the Dead or just the activation of the Trooper now. Since they didn't get back this, well, maybe they didn't want to get back that. So, no blocks. Taking 4. Fine. Now I can go for Last of the River. And just go with the Mire's Grasp on one of their creatures. This is a super strong removal spell. They can discard, but this is going to die nonetheless. If we had Last Grasp instead, it wouldn't work. Oh, this has reached, so attacking doesn't make sense. Almost. Yeah. So if they attack, I'm going to block again, I don't care. Oh. Again, if they discard a card to kill it, we are fine. If they use a removal spell, we are fine. If they use a bounce spell, it's the same thing. We are basically trading one card in hand for 1/0/0 token, so I'm fine with that. Well, maybe a 1/1 token if you want to see it like that. So they have a Mood Mark Painter. This is the way that they can cheese out a win, so we have to be wary of that. I think I'm going to actually save the dismissal. I'm going to shuffle now because we don't have any synergies with the Evolving Wilds. We don't have any ways of using the fact that we are shuffling our deck, so I'm going to just thin our deck and pass the turn. I don't have any good blocks, but I don't want to return their Lurcher to their hand. I want to save the Colossus Dismissal in case they play like a Lurcher. If they play a Lurcher, we need to be able to survive a couple of turns. Here I can play this, and if I draw Mordor, I can play it with the Swamp. Let's just see what we draw now. Okay, to play this now. We are falling behind on life. I'm tempted now to return the Vulture to their hand, but that makes their future draws better. So the fact that if we return this to their hand, we can play a token, and if they attack, they have to discard to trade with everything. No, it's fine. We just put this here. If they want to discard to keep their Trooper, they can. Cards churn in response. That's interesting. Oh, they can return something and then discard it, I guess. The return doesn't matter. Something to discard then. Okay. So now we are falling a lot behind on tempo. I think I'm going to return the Trooper to their hand. And now we can double block with the Cadaver Imp and the token. We are just floating out very hard now. We just need to find any card draw spell and we are going to be fine. This is lethal. It gives it menace, so it's lethal, yeah. Yep, GG. X-axis. Yeah, great play from them. So let's see. I don't think we can do much more. Again, if we draw our removal spells, we're fine. If we draw a bit of card draw, we can start clogging the board with dorks and just keeping them from killing us. This deck has a lot of outs to big creatures. We have Murder and just champ blocking into Oblivion until we find the Murders. So we just need to have a bit, be a bit more lucky. Okay, this hand doesn't have any creatures, any value creatures, but we have a couple of ways of not falling too far behind. Chaos Dismissal here is just a tempo play. You can see it as a 1/1 that returns a creature from them to their owner's hand. So that's a good thing. If we have Manowar in this deck, oh, they seem to be mulliganing a lot. I don't want to say oops because it may sound like I'm just teasing them. I'm not trying to do that. So okay, I'm going to say oops because I don't know what to say. Poor guy. We could kill that and blank some of their cards. We have more removal spells. I don't know. I think I'm going to wait on that. I might just go for the dismissal just to have a token. This way we made their future turns a bit awkward. I'm going to offer the trade now. At least this way we are having a better clock than them. Them milling us is also a benefit for us. So that's important to note that if you are playing a deck that benefits from the graveyard, then these kind of cards are good. But take into account that other decks might have other synergies with that. So I think they only have the Lurcher now. Yeah. It looks like they don't have a third land drop, sadly. No. Okay, Bojuka is fine, but we don't have anything to make them... nothing to exile yet. I think I'm going to attack and sack. I just want to have more value now. Okay, Murder is fine. We have so much removal, I think I'm going to go for it. I'm going to play this now. I don't want to play Bojuka until we can exile a lot of things from them. Oh, oops. Okay, so that was it for this deck. We got a bit lucky on the third match, but I think we had a good matchup there. Their decks seem to not align very well with versus us. Also, in the first two games, we didn't find any Bojuka box that would have just trounced them, just put them so far behind because they use so much the graveyard that would have been very good for us. So, thank you so much for watching and see you next time.